Alright, y'all. What I got for you today is blueberry cobbler. Now, growing up in the South, we eat this religiously. I mean, it's basically a tradition at this point. And you can make all kinds of cobblers. It don't have to just be blueberry. I've had blackberry cobbler, peach cobbler, apple cobbler, cherry cobbler. I mean, you daggum name it. Strawberry cobbler, I've had it. So I'm going to teach you my way on how I make my cobblers. Now, if you got your own preferred method or way you do things, stick to it, whatever. This is just how I do mine. First, what I do is I start out with a pound of blueberries. Now, I go through these blueberries. You'll notice I'm picking everything out here. I pick out like the underripe ones, the ones that have the long stems on them, stuff like that. You can tell when these blueberries ain't ripe. Some of them aren't ripe because they won't be fully colored. They'll have mixed in colors like red and green. And you'll just be able to tell which ones are not really that ripe. Anyway, once you get done doing that, you're going to go in with 3/4 cup of sugar, a tablespoon and a half of flour, about a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3 capfuls of vanilla extract. You're going to give that a good, generous mix, fully incorporating every blueberry in the mixture until it creates a sort of a paste texture, but not really. It'll still have like a little bit of a crumble to it. You really just want to coat these blueberries. Get them very coated up. Then once them blueberries are all coated up, we're going to get us a baking dish and get them blueberries in that baking dish. Now, this baking dish that I have right here, it's fairly small, maybe like a 7x9 or something like that. I'm not really for sure, but I just know it's a pretty small baking dish. Keep in mind, if you do use a larger baking dish, your cobbler won't be as deep. So just keep that in mind. If you use a larger baking dish, I'd highly recommend maybe adding a little more to this recipe, like maybe doubling it or something. And this whole pan, guys, this whole pan was gone in a matter of just a couple hours. I think I ate half of it by myself in probably about 30 minutes. So, get them packed in there real nice and neat. Should look like that when you're done. Now, once you do that, we're going to move on to the actual cobbler topping. Now, you're going to go in 1 cup flour, 1/2 cup sugar, as well as 1 whole melted stick of unsalted butter. You can use salted if you want, but don't put any salt in it. And the juice from half a lemon, as well as a couple teaspoons or capfuls of vanilla extract and 1 egg. Incorporate it thoroughly and mix it up. Now, this lemon that I was using was just an absolute giant lemon. When I cut it in half and got the juice into the mixture here, it was just way more runny than I wanted. So to fix that cobbler topping mixture, I actually ended up closer towards the end of the video going back in with a couple more heaping teaspoons or so of the flour just to thicken it up real good. I like the texture of the cobbler topping to be a certain consistency, and I'll show you what that consistency is. You see right here, it's pretty runny. It's more runny than I like, and it's pretty thin. It's a pretty thin texture. So I like to thicken that up. You could probably also add cornstarch in there as well to thicken it up, but I like to use flour a lot in my videos. You see right here, I'm adding a couple more heaping teaspoons of flour to that mixture to thicken it up. You can see right there, that's how I like it. Since I used unsalted butter, I added a little bit of salt and just a little bit of baking powder, and then I gave it a good mix. Threw it in the oven at 375 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes or so. And then after that, a couple scoops of ice cream and dig in.